Hello, Smithers. I'm quite good, and you're turning me on. Should probably ignore that.
You know that thing that I do where I've got a magnet for breaking things and finding ways to just make things seem stupider than they are because for whatever reason I've got an affinity for finding the break? I've done it. Deliver! I see someone. Oh yeah, it's coming! It's coming!
Mr. Pole. Mr. Pole. I missed loads of healthy missions.
It's that death in a kitchen apron with a ladle. Oh Christ, the memories.
Get up! Burn the fire exit off! Move it off! It's gonna fucking pop!
Fucking loud, that innit?
Want to move?
Maybe.
Fucking don't move!
Excuse me while I just look at Brambleman back there. What's your power? Being a prick?
Oh, we know where this is going. It's a good thing you're not on the bed. Oh, I fool! Wait, it's there now!
Wait, what? What the? Oh, come on! I thought you were jumping back on the... What? You...
Hello and welcome to the annual TearofGrace update show. Please welcome your host, entertainer, and special guest, TearofGrace.
Hello. How are you? Been a while since I've had to update anyone in any shape, way, or form, isn't it? Did you enjoy that trailer you just saw? Because that, specifically, is for a new channel. I do say new. It's existed for like 3 to 4 years. I forget, as I clearly forgot about it. It's the TearofGrace channel, if any of you were aware of that, the one where I had a Monty Burns impression video and a everything went wrong in a recording video that never got used in the end because it was originally intended for the behind-the-scenes things that ended up going on the main channel that you all enjoyed, so... Well, that is now being repurposed and reused for the best of the best content. And no, don't worry, don't get misconstrued. Allow me to explain this coherently and concisely, so you don't get mixed up. And it's all crystal clear what's going on. On the TearofGrace channel, Monday and Fridays, there will be a Shadow of War episode. On Wednesday, there'll be the Binding of Isaac. And depending on what sponsored stuff ends up coming our way, there may be things on Tuesday and Thursday. On the new channel, however, it'll be one a week, don't know what day. If I can get one penciled in, I'll be sure to update you on Twitter. You should kind of maybe follow me there for updates on stuff. If you're thinking to yourself, I don't use Twitter, what's the point? Well, then you've got a dedicated streamline of my information, content, and then you don't need the sub-boxes on YouTube to consistently lie to you. Or, I guess lying is constituted of saying wrong information, as opposed to the sub-box that just withholds information. It's more of a hostage-taking situation than it is lying. But point is, on that channel you'll be getting the best of the best, and I say that because I'll be doing different things. I know Death's Gambit is the main video on there as of right now, and that's down to the fact that that series seems like it's gonna go places considering how ridiculously funny, fun, and interesting the game is. And yes, funny and fun are different, fun to play and funny in and of itself. It's got death in a kitchen apron, what's not to love? So that's the way that content is being divvied up from now on. If you do like the more variety, I would recommend subscribing right now. Go there, do it please. If you like the VR recording type things, and obviously the type of content you saw in the trailer, that should really be the thing I say because that's the most obvious and concise and to the point without me rambling and repeating things you already know. Anything in that, you should go subscribe to it, because I will be putting my damnedest effort into every single video that goes on there, and not because I won't be putting any effort into the things going on the main channel. I always do put my best into it, but when you've played a thing for several hundred hours, there's a lot less you can do with it creatively than something you've played for 0. Or, you know, the hour of the recording you understand what I'm trying to say? I hope, because these days if you don't, I'm not sure I do either. So there be the channel update for the most part in the concise way that I can. As said, the schedule on the main channel at long last, there is one, a consistent one. I know that there's been one on and off here and there, different variations of it over the years, but this one seems all I can do. It won't always forever and... It won't always be those games, necessarily, like when new Shadow of War comes out, or there's new Binding of Isaac, or like Sekiro's Shadow Die Twice. I imagine that could be on the main channel. It's one of the things I haven't really decided, to be completely honest with you. But it won't just be those two series forever and always until it's dead and done and boring as ever. You get the idea of things will be replenished and replaced with things that make sense with the mainstay things you'd expect on this channel. Meanwhile, the offshoot things, games like Owlboy, if any of you have even heard of that, if anyone watches Video Game Donkey, recommended it highly like a year ago, and it just came out, went right under the radar. You could say it swooped under the radar, and apparently I've become Jonathan Ross. God knows why, I don't know why that happened, but I'm not making fun of the man, I'm making fun of myself because I can't speak. But then again, that insinuates that he can't. That is making fun of him. But yeah, that should cover the idea of what to expect from both channels going forward, so you know concisely why to say subscribe to this and to subscribe to that one. I again would wholeheartedly recommend it. I spent like 28 hours, maybe a bit more, on that Death's Gambit video. I spent like 2 hours on that trailer somehow. I don't know how, it's just reused footage, but I still bloody did. Other part of the update would be Patreon. And the reason we're reopening it, and the situation of YouTube. I mean, to put the whole timeline into perspective, originally opened the Patreon because YouTube was garbage and wasn't making enough for us to pay ourselves. Not, if I say ourselves, just the editors. I was going off of Twitch at that point, and they were getting all the YouTube, so we opened Patreon in a hope that, you know, we could have some stability. And unfortunately, the channel didn't have any stability. On my end, I've just messed up all over the place, you know me, with unfortunate bouts of absence. And we weren't putting out enough content to justify taking people's money for something like that, so I turned it off. I just turned it off and got rid of it. And time has passed. And discussing it with people on stream, the people I work with, and just realizing the situation that is still YouTube, you know, the barren, empty wasteland where it barely pays you enough to keep doing what you're doing, assuming you run a company, it's not just a solo practitioner. If there were that, I'd be able to survive, but it's not. I've roped many people and their families into this, so my bad. So with that, now we've got a schedule, we are routine, we are reliable, and I say that and will stick to that. For goddamn once, I mean it. I know it's one of those things where it's the boy that cried wolf, but seriously, at this point, I've had a lot of fucking goddamn growing up in the past year and realizations that this is the people relying on me in more senses than people that work for me, I'll put it that way. Fucking armrest. So, with all that, we are reopening it with better rewards, ones we can actually do reliably, ones that are actually, in my opinion, are a lot more well, maybe not beneficial, but, you know, rewarding, interesting, as opposed to, you can vote on a thing where I pick the options myself, limiting it to what I clearly wanted to do anyway. It always felt rigged, and I was never good at upholding it, so that one's gone, but we're doing a diarrhea. It's a diary joke. I'm dead funny because I mixed it with poo. We'll be doing that. We're evidently lifted from Couchop's Patreon because, you know, it's a system that works. It's smart, it's clever. You get to keep people up to date with things. We've got us all logged in, so we can just use it on our phone. So there'll be like a frequent, and I guess recent as well if it's frequent. Update on things and a stream of content. Well, content implies videos, but you know what I mean? Of like updates and things and insights and pictures and previews and what have yous. Not video previews necessarily, because that's a thing I always do on Twitter. I'm not taking things away that I've already done just to make people pay for that. That's a fucking shitty thing to do. I've never liked it. So this isn't me saying I'm not using Twitter anymore. Of course I am. You'll still get me bitching about stupid shit on there. But, yeah, that's the mainstay. Everyone who ever credits it, wait, what? Anyone who ever supports on it will be credited. I swear I can't speak today. It's not like it's my job. Christ. Yeah, any single person that goes through the Patreon and does at least $5 will end up being credited on the outro from now on. I'll find a way to get that concise, given the time frame of the outro is usually differing. We've got different layers of things. Like there's a Discord thing that you'll be able to go into that I'll be using to vent after recordings, I imagine, and after streams where you just get to put up with more of my bullshit on an intimate level and tell me to shut the fuck up and grow the fuck up. That'll keep me in check, like for real. Please, feel free to do so. There's some daft things like postcard things that people might appreciate. And one of the bigger ones was when the office is built, because you will be the ones funding it, essentially, if you choose to go through it, not only just the YouTube thing, but, you know, you guys going through that would be helping wholeheartedly with it. We'll be finding a way to embed, imprint, embark your wall. Wait, what? Your name on the wall. This not being able to speak thing is really getting frequent. I think my brain turned off. I think the green screen's sapping my smarts. It's because green is not an intelligent colour. Anyone that goes to that threshold, I believe, I can't remember what amount we've put it to. It'll be on screen. We'll have your name imprinted on the wall forever and always. So, you know, have a reminder for the people that built it, and you will probably end up seeing that in the content that we make in it. So, yeah, that's about that for Patreon. Again, don't feel compelled to do it because it is what it is, you know. We've got ourselves into the situation of relying, well, not relying, we've got Twitch and everything, but, you know, being somewhat, at least, reliant on YouTube. It's our fault we're stuck in the middle of the mud with our fucking dicks in the air. My fault, if anything, really. But it's an option, and if you want to do it, you'll be, in my opinion, hopefully, properly rewarded for it, at least in some sense on a sentimental value. And yeah, I think that about covers it for the update on the Patreon thing too. I'm never good at these. I have legitimate short-term memory loss. I don't know if I've ever explained it, but I have like a window of time in my brain where if I try to remember something that happened in the past minute to, I don't know what really the exact time frame is, maybe 3 minutes, if I try to remember it within that, it's fucking gone. But if I try to remember it after that, it's there. This isn't a fucking joke. It's why recording these things is a constant battle of what did I just say? It's fun. So you ever see myself like being a little bit repetitive on stream, or maybe it somehow makes its way into like a released episode, because I do it a lot and ends up getting edited out. That's why my brain doesn't work right at all. Fucking bipolar and short-term memory loss, what a mix, right? So yeah, update, TLDR of the version here, just to concisely put it into my own head to make sure you know and I know that we've all covered it. New channel with the variety content, fresh, lovely, nice things. Didn't really mean to do that, that's wasted the entire point list. Well, fuck it. But you'll be able to find things on there where I'm at my best. I hope that'll be always the goal there. The main channel with Shadow War, Binding of Isaac, and any other mainstay things, whether it be DLC for those games or sequels, or other things that make sense, like Dark Souls or Sekiro's, Shadows Die Twice, and a bunch of other things, again, would make sense. So the more series-based stuff would be there, the one-offs, and sometimes maybe like the Death's Gambit will probably be a series on the second channel, and then the Patreon, as said, already listed that most recently, that I can remember, thankfully. So yeah, I appreciate you for tuning in to this nonsense. I hope it wasn't boring, as I usually am when in front of a screen with a hat that I have to wear, because I've not shaved in that long. It's getting to that weird sticky uppy on the side shit. You'd think losing your hair this much would prevent you from having that, but no. So that was messing with the green screen, so I had to wear one of these. It's been down there in that little dusty corner of the goddamn room for so long, it was covered in cat fur, and it's on my head. I'm probably going to get a disease from this, but either way. Yeah, I hope that covers it all. As I said, the usual... this week there's been a fucking video every day, am I right? Yeah, you won't be getting that every week. But yeah, it's been a bit hectic, so I apologize for releasing the channel technically on Tuesday and then actually properly announcing it Thursday. It's been a mess. There's been a bunch of stuff to keep up with, but I appreciate your patience. For one, just staying subscribed to the shithole. For two, enjoying it somehow. And three, wanting more all the time. God knows how, and it's fully appreciated. Feel free to watch Death's Gambit. Only main video on their channel. Oh, and real quick, for the people that are like, where'd the Mr. Burns video go? They're unlisted currently, and once I've got say 10 videos on the channel that's normal and to be expected, I'll just put them back to public, just because I don't want the expectation of the channel to be the old stuff from years ago. So, watch that, subscribe to the new channel there, and maybe there's something covering the microphone. Oh, goddamn, now I never know I'm doing this. Just thank you, appreciate you lots. It's been illuminating the past couple of months of my life. And again, I don't know how I have anyone sticking around and putting up with me through it. I don't deserve it at all, but again, appreciate it. So, it's love you lots.